outside with these booths, I thought we'll be outside eventually. I want you, I'll leave it, but I want to be sure to go to the garage today.
Well, these aren't exactly, dress shoes.
You don't
want to sit up here?
Okay, I'll do a couple of songs, and I'll call you for the talk.
I'd sit with you
Yeah, I
guys.
got a few.
Okay. Yes.
You can have a chair now.
For those wearing the Korea ribbon, please.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on the wrong side, that's my fault, thank you.
Sorry.
Sorry, Oh, let me, anybody have a cell phone, please silence it.
Pager, yeah, please turn it.
If you have a pager, probably should get a cell phone. They're less expensive.
Yeah, we don't want anybody calling.
When you're having surgery, make sure they think of writing He'll be thinking. So you told me she did everything with heart. For time.
Very much so. I think she approved of the,
Baruch Dayan Hamet, we praise the judge of truth. The only thing we can be certain of in life is that we can't predict the future. Like Yogi Berra said, it's hard to make predictions, especially about the future. So, at least it's not raining. We thank God for that. But the rain provided by the Almighty gave us a nice bit of mud. So we'll be here, and then afterward, those who can will go to the grave. I will go to the grave, and we'll make sure that we provide respectful burial for her, and that that's all taken care of. But if you just have your ordinary shoes, which I'll make sure to put on before I go into your house, you fulfill your obligation by being here. You don't have to schlep down into the mud, which will probably be ankle deep. So just know that you're here and that that's okay. Begin with Psalm 121. Asai enai el harim me'ayin yavo ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. Al yitein lamot raglecha, al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha al yad v'minecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka v'yarech b'layla. Adonai yishmarcha mikol ra yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmar tzecha v'oecha me'ata v'ad olam. I lift up mine eyes unto the mountains, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. The Lord is your guardian, he is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm. He will guard your soul. You're going and you're coming, now and forever. Death has taken your beloved, your dear Phyllis Ross. Friends grieve in their darkened world. In their silence there is lamentation. In their tears there is loneliness. Lost in their sorrow, may they find the presence of loving friends. Hear them, O God, and be with them. For Phyllis's love that united so many people in life, and which death cannot sever. For her companionship that we shared along life's path, and which continues through the tenderness of memory. for the gifts of her heart and mind, which brought joy and happiness, and is now a precious remembrance. For all of these and more, we give our thanks to God. It is a time of sadness, profound sadness and grief. And so we listen once again to the voice of our sacred scriptures from Sefer Tehillim, from the book of Psalms. It brings us the ever new message of God's nearness. It tells us of our kinship with the Creator, in light as in darkness, in joy as in sorrow, in life as in death. And let us recite the 23rd Psalm in English. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. It's a privilege to call forward Phyllis's dear husband, Alan, to speak words of eulogy of his dear wife.
That you were leaving.
Oh no, I'm not leaving, I'm just getting some air.
Okay. Thank you all for coming, and you know, when Phyllis and I decided where we wanted to be put to rest, we were thinking, well, we live in Florida, but we didn't want to be buried in Florida, and 50 years from now we'd be underwater. So,
In 50 years, we'll be here to worry about it.
so hopefully they'll have the swamp drain, as they say. Anyway, Phyllis would always want me to say a few words about her, so I had just to familiarize some of you with her. Phyllis Berman was that was her name at birth, and she died peacefully in her sleep on February 12th. And it was after a long battle with Alzheimer's disease, 3 years plus that she was diagnosed. She passed away at the nursing facility where she had been a resident for some time. And of course she leaves behind me, her husband of 52 years, Michael, Stephanie, Lindsay, Ben, and Julia. And of course her loving sister, Carol, and brother Jeff, among others, and her many, many friends. Phyllis was born here in Cleveland, Ohio. She graduated from Cleveland Heights High School in 1966. She attended, I'm gonna take this thing off. She attended the Mount Sinai School of Nursing, where she earned her RN degree in 1969. And she received the Gold Key Award as the outstanding nurse in her class, as voted by the faculty. And of course, I would have expected nothing else. Phyllis and I met in high school in world history class. She was probably 15 and I was 16. And one day she's sitting next to me and I saw she had written my name in her textbook cover. So after that, I knew I was a goner, and I'm glad I was. We dated for 5 years, and then after we both graduated, we were married in 1969. We moved to New York, where I pursued my PhD in organic chemistry, and Phyllis went to work as an RN at Albert Einstein Hospital. After I got my doctorate, we moved to Hartford, Connecticut. I went to work for a company in the Hartford area. And Phyllis continued her nursing career at St. Francis Hospital in Hartford. And that was quite a bit different than Albert Einstein, which was a very Jewish and kosher hospital. St. Francis, as you might imagine, was a Catholic hospital. So
Kosher in their own way.
Kosher in their own way. There was one thing Phyllis wouldn't do when the priest was coming around to the women who were patients. to give them a blessing. A nurse would go ahead and ring a little bell and say, father is coming, so that the women could, you know, whatever, cover up. And Phyllis says, well, I'll do anything you want, but I'm not doing father is coming. So she did everything else, but not that.
As a rabbi, wouldn't that be nice for us? You're visiting in the hospital,
Rabbi's
coming.
Well, I think they wanted
Let's
them
put
to
in
cover,
for
I
that.
think they wanted them to cover up, it was more for the.
No.
It was more for the priest.
Well, no, and I understand that too, but, you know, I mean.
So, we were very active in the temple in Hartford, in West Hartford, and Michael was born at St. Francis Hospital in 1975, January of 1975. And as I said, we're very active in the temple there, Temple Beth Israel. Phyllis got her adult bat mitzvah at the temple, and she also served as president of the local Orc chapter and many other things, den mother and a few other things. In 1984, I accepted a job with the Coppers Company in Pittsburgh, and we moved to the suburb of Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania. At that time, Phyllis decided to switch careers, and she earned her associate's degree in marketing from Allegheny Community College. She was hired as a physician recruiter with a startup HMO. HMOs were very new in those days. It was called Keystone Health Plan West. Well, Keystone eventually became part of a very large health insurance company called Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. In fact, I think it's the largest health insurer in Pennsylvania. And she moved steadily up the ladder at Highmark, obtaining a position of special projects manager, which was equivalent to that of a vice president. She received several awards at Highmark, including a star for outstanding work in the marketing division. We retired to Boynton Beach, Florida in 2011, but Phyllis's last project at Highmark before retirement was helping the company navigate the Affordable Health Care Act, better known as Obamacare. While we were in Pittsburgh, we were active at Temple Emmanuel of the South Hills. I served as president there for 4 years, and Phyllis was very active in the Temple Sisterhood and the local Untitled Chapter. Phyllis, as many of you know, was an outstanding cook, and she loved entertaining. We hosted numerous dinner parties, wine tastings, Passover seders, high holiday meals, and in addition, we hosted 25 straight Super Bowl parties at our house. And of course, we were particularly excited to see our hometown Pittsburgh Steelers win in 2005 and 2009. Sorry, Jeff. Jeff's a Browns fan. Poor guy. After we retired, we moved to Valencia Point, which is a gated community in Boynton Beach. And in addition to continuing with our entertaining, we availed ourselves of the many social events and community events there, and we made numerous friends there. And we joined Temple Shari Shalom there. I served as a trustee, and Phyllis became very active in the Temple Sisterhood. And we're going to have a memorial service at the temple next Thursday for all our friends and colleagues down in Florida. Hopefully the weather will be a little better. I have to say, Phyllis and I were veteran travelers, and we preferred land trips to sea cruises. I counted over the years we went on 25 major trips, visiting over 30 foreign countries. Some of our memorable trips included England, Spain, France, Italy, Russia, South America, and China. And I must say, we also visited Israel 3 times, including twice with our temple trip there. So it's sad. Phyllis died at the age of 73, which is really too young by today's standards, but I can assure you there's no doubt that she led a life well lived. Thank you. I'm done.
And to those words spoken as a prayer, let us say Amen.
Amen.
Do you have any idea her Hebrew name? He told me that she said it was Pa'el, which I've never even heard. And no familiarity with Pael.
It's an Aramaic verb form. I mean,
Yeah, like Pal, or
Yeah.
Poel. I don't have any idea. I didn't want to do the Ale Malay and call her Pael, or Pael, or Poel. Any idea?
It's on your ketubah.
I can't read it, the ketubah's pretty small.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know what, will you take a look at it sometime?
Yes.
And not this second, but
Yeah.
Well,
sometime.
for brother and sister, I'm.
Yeah, any idea what your parents' Hebrew names were?
Moshe,
Yeah.
my father.
Moshe, okay.
And my mother always went by Fago,
Fago.
for more than
Fago,
Yiddish.
yeah.
It's Yiddish, that's fine,
Yeah.
okay. So Moshe the Fake, okay. We gather today, this afternoon. It's a very difficult time for the family. And the weather is a fitting reflection of how we feel. It's just kind of dreary and uncomfortable. We mourn and we lovingly recall your dear wife and sister and mother and grandmother and relative and confidant and friend, your dear Phyllis Ross. Ellen said she put her heart into everything she did, which is why I'm wearing this tie. It's an American Heart Association tie from a long time ago, from my father-in-law, blessed memory. And you also mentioned the year of her birth, 1948, and that she was the same age as the state of Israel. And so your comments, and Phyllis's year of birth is a reminder of a profound and a really great book by Chaim Potok called The Chosen. And it may be familiar to some of you. The book was published in April 1967, just before the 6-Day War. I think Phyllis would have been about 18 at that time. And in his book, The Chosen, Chaim Potok sets the characters in the 1940s, just after the Holocaust. David Malter, a Jewish scholar of failing health, rushes from meeting to meeting, from speech to speech, to win people to the Zionist cause in an effort to rescue the Jewish remnant from the Nazi death camps. And his son Reuven is frightened that his father is endangering his life because he's just running around. He wants his dad to slow down, his father to slow down. So he protests to his father. And his father, David, responds to his son Reuven with these words. I learned a long time ago, Reuven, that the blink of an eye is nothing. But the eye that blinks, that is something. A span of life is nothing, but the person that lives that span is something. The person can fill that tiny span with meaning, so its quality is immeasurable, though its quantity may be insignificant. Do you understand what I'm saying? A person must fill his life. A person must fill her life with meaning. Meaning is not automatically given to life. It's hard work to fill one's life with meaning. A life filled with meaning is worthy of rest. I want to be worthy of rest when I am no longer here. And as you spoke of your dear Phyllis, what you told me and what you shared with us here, this is a life worthy of rest. Undoubtedly. She was born December 2nd, 1948. Her parents, Marvin and Florence Berman, both of blessed memory. She was the firstborn, the eldest. Phyllis of blessed memory, Sister Carol, Brother Jeffrey. And as you said, she went to Heights, she married. Rabbi Armin Cohen did your wedding. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right? They took care of each other. You took care of each other for 52 years. And you've been blessed with family and friends. As we know, Michael and Stephanie and the grandchildren, Lindsay, Ben, and Julie, the best. The grandchildren are the best. Also, we want to make mention of your brother Louis and his wife Susan, and also your sister Sandra, who's unable to be here. She's in Minneapolis.
Probably in better weather.
I don't know. I don't know. Alan said, Phyllis had a life well lived. She had a great family, a loving husband, he said. She had a loving husband, very active career, and he said all of the things. Oh, She was sweet, she put her heart into everything. She was a great crier at movies. And if the worship service was especially emotional, she was very emotional. She was a great entertainer. Thanks for pointing out those Super Bowl parties. And long suffering. Yeah, you're suffering a little now too. But not as long as we've been suffering. But as Jews, we all suffer, right? Let's catch about it a little bit. She had been at one time a great needle pointer. She played Maj. And Alan also said that we know we believe in Olam Haba, the world to come. And he said, boy, when I get there with her, she's going to complain about the dress I picked out. What is she going to fetch about it? So we hope it's not soon.
Right. Me
So,
too.
on Shabbat, she breathed her last, and there's no more pain or deterioration of her body or her mind. There's just rest and wholeness and peace. Shabbat is an especially holy time to die. Just as Shabbat is a holy time, a time of rest, so too for Phyllis, it's a time of rest and peace. Her soul is returning to God and to be with the souls of her dear relatives, friends and ancestors of our people. We learn this in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. The dust returns to the earth as it was. The spirit returns to God who gave it. One day all of us will join our loved ones in Olam Haba, the world to come. Olam Haba is an entirely spiritual existence. This is a place. Olam Haba is not a place. It's an eternal time. Our souls live on in time. And so you will be together again with her, and you will be together with your loved ones. Once again, we're not in a hurry, but we have the faith that we will be together in Olam Haba with our loved ones. The family has allowed us to send along an old Siddur. This is, people give me old Siddurim, old prayer books all the time, because they know that you don't just throw them away, you pray them. And so we have sent one along. This happens to be a Jewish welfare board, old one from probably like World War II. It's a High Holy Days prayer book, and it has been well prayed from. So we have placed it in the casket with her. Not only is it a mitzvah to escort the body of your loved one to its final resting place, but holy books of our tradition. You have memories that are filled to overflowing, and we give thanks to God for this gift of life, a great life well lived, 73 not long enough. However, we would have wanted more, but in good health. And so, as you think of her, be helpful and kind. Whatever she cooked and baked, if she did those things well, you should get those recipes and make them. Learn how to make them. Because you'll remember her, and the family will have lots and lots of great memories to remember. Hopefully your team will make it back to the Super Bowl sometime after the Browns do. But, you know, who the heck
The
knows?
world to come.
Yeah, in Olam Haba, right. However, it's all good natured, the ribbon. You know, it's fun to have friends and family to go, and it is. So, as you think of her, be kind and helpful, and do these things in her loving memory, for only through the deeds which we perform can the world be compensated for her loss. And so we conclude with words from the first chapter of the book of Job. Adonai Natan, Adonai Lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mevorach. The Lord hath given, the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Amen. Ose shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Yase shalom, Yase shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, Yase shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. God who causes peace in the high heavens, Cause peace to rain down upon us, upon all Israel, and upon the soul of our dearly departed Phyllis Ross. And let us say, Amen. In a moment, we will do El Malei Rachamim. After we do El Malei Rachamim, we'll go in a little procession to the hearse. And as I said before, whomever can go to the grave, you can, but it's good to be prepared to go to the grave. If you can't go, it's all right. We'll be your witnesses and your representatives. And then we're getting together at Louis and Susan's house at 6221 North, not South, North Applecross Road. And we'll get together, we'll do a cottage there, and we'll eat from the sugar tray at that point. Also, if you are on the Ethernet here, know that the family has requested that if you care to make a donation in her loving memory, it's the Alzheimer's Association, I believe. At least think of that place organization first, as well as others for tzedakah in her loving memory. She'll be on the Kaddish list for the Shloshim for the whole 30 days. I know she'll be on the Kaddish list in Florida and other places as well. And we'll say Kaddish for her every day. And the kids in religious school and Hebrew school get reps on the Kaddish for Phyllis, which is a very, very important thing. Pray for her soul, and they get the reps on the prayer. Please rise for El Malei Rachamim. Into your care, O God, we entrust the spirit of our dear Phyllis Ross. For you keep faith with your children in death as in life. Sustain us so we may meet with serenity the mysteries that lie ahead, knowing that when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you, O God, are with us, a loving friend in whom we put our trust. You are the light of our life, our hope in eternity. El Malei Rachamim, Shochein Bamromim, Hamitzeh Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashlina, Im Kedoshim U'Tohorim, Kizohar Ki Amasirim, Et Nishmat Phyllis Bat Moshe V'Fega, Shalach Al Olama, Ba'al HaRachamim, Yas Divrei HaPesei Teken Afav Le'olamim, Vayitzro B'Yisro HaChaim, Et Nishmata Adonai Hulacharata, V'Tanu Al Peshalom, Al Mishkava, V'Nomar, Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to our dear Phyllis Ross. She has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. And now we will go in procession to the grave. And if you're not going to the grave with us, we'll meet you at your house.
Rabbi,
Yes, sir.
since we may not be able to have everybody at the gravesite, could we say a double
Oh,
cottage?
you want to do a cottage here? Yes. Let's do a
That
cottage
way
here.
we'll all say cottage, is that
Absolutely.
okay?
That's a great idea, Mr. Berkowitz. It's a very, very, very thoughtful and sensitive idea. Yitgadal v'yitgadal
Shemei Rabbah.
Ba'almad yivrak terutei v'yavit malchutei v'chayimon v'yomechon v'chayim v'opeit Yisrael v'agalav v'zman karim v'imru amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah v'rach v'olam amen amen Yisparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitagar v'yitaleh v'yitalav Shmei Purusha v'ripu Leila min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbachata V'Nechamata, Da'Dirah Mi'alma V'Yimru Amen. Yehi Shama Rabba Mishmaya, V'Chaim Aleinu V'Yalko Yisrael, V'Yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom V'Romav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'Yalko Yisrael, V'Yimru Amen. Lech Kishilacha Adonai, go your way, for the Lord has called you. Lech Adonai Ye'emach, go your way, and may God be with you. V'halach lefanecha tzidkecha kavod Adonai especha. May your righteousness go before you, may the glory of God receive you. Everyone who is here not wearing a ribbon, please repeat these words after me to the mourners wearing the ribbons. May God console you.
May God console you.
With all who mourn.
With all who mourn.
In Zion and Jerusalem.
In Zion and Jerusalem.
Hamakom yinachem etchem b'toch she'avet Zion v'Yerushalayim. Amen.
Amen.
And now we will go and we will recite Parashat Brave as well. Thank you.